Catherine.
And I'm Dewey, here with another water-wise tip.
During summer, do you know why we water up to 3 days a week?
To make the best use of me.
Exactly. It builds deeper, stronger roots and makes your lawn more resilient.
Also, use the cycle and soak method. Try shorter cycles with breaks in between to reduce runoff.
And in spring or fall, you can water 1 or 2 days per week. Be water-wise and your lawn will thrive.
Now that's water-wise. Learn more at csu.org/waterwise.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. This is Peaks to Plains Weather, live mornings with Meister. I am Matt Meister. It is June 4th. Thanks for starting your day with us here on a day that is going to be different than what we had around here for the last couple of days. Yesterday, we still had some thunderstorms around. Kyle was at the South Marina at the Pueblo Reservoir as things were looking dark and stormy to the west. Got this shot from Marion. He used the Peaks to Plains weather app, send a map feature in the bottom right-hand corner of the storms coming off of the hills here, looking to the north, those rain sheets with the light behind it looking really cool, a little bit ominous. And here's where we had the moisture yesterday. Those storms coming off of the hills. You see the brighter greens. That's where we had a little bit of hail in there. It's where we had some heavier rain. The bright green showing where radar estimating more than an inch of rain fell. I'll start, though, with the southeastern plains where we had some pretty persistent showers, mainly east of Highway 71 during the day yesterday. And some of us got, up around a quarter, maybe a third of an inch or so with some of those showers that were out there. Always nice to see that. But the thunderstorms a little bit more intense during the afternoon. Had a couple around La Vida Pass that produced between 3/4 of an inch and an inch of rain. Had one west of West Cliff that had a severe thunderstorm warning on it for a little bit in the middle part of the afternoon. It was rolling south along the eastern slopes of the Sangre de Cristos, and that one fell apart here. Had a couple in southwestern Teller County where radar is estimating that in some cases into eastern Park County as well that we had more than an inch of rain. That was the thunderstorm that we had from Marion with that picture moving toward Canyon City, but that kind of fell apart as it came into town. We had a couple thunderstorms as well that were kind of on the east slopes of Pikes Peak on Highway 115, produced between 1/4 and 1/2 inch of rain. And then up across Douglas and Elbert counties, we had some of the stronger storms in our area yesterday. Franktown had a storm that just sat overhead, produced some 1-inch diameter hail, and that one produced some flooding as well across town, just some minor flooding out there. You can see that hail report from the Franktown area. That was from about 3:30 in the afternoon of some 1-inch diameter hail. For the rest of us that missed out on storms yesterday, especially east of the mountains, it was another relatively cool day. For the time of years, a lot of us didn't hit 80. Pueblo, Canyon City, we were the warm spots as we did get above 80 yesterday. And I think that is going to change here as we head through the rest of the work week into the weekend, because we do have certainly some warmer air coming into the region. So good morning. How are you? Kathleen is checking in and says this good morning. Clinton is watching from the upper Arkansas River Valley. He says it's a lovely morning there. Happy Thursday. Brad says good morning. Brad, thanks for checking in. And Jeff says, let's go as we get the day underway. I agree, man. Let's go. Let's get into the forecast. Let's check out what is happening out there this morning as we get our Thursday underway. Woodland Park, the sun is up. You can see the shadow there of the stoplights there where it's 50 degrees already. It's really, really comfortable outside this morning. Pueblo, it is 48. And our humidity is a little bit higher in Pueblo than what we have up against the hills in Colorado Springs. There are a few spots out across the eastern plains this morning where we have some low clouds. That's because our dew point temps are still up there a little bit. And you can see that here. Pueblo, it's 45. La Junta, we've got 50 still, and Lamar, it's 55. And so if you're waking up to some low clouds, those aren't going to hang with us all day long because we'll get rid of those things pretty quick here. Temperature-wise this morning, a lot of us waking up in the 40s here up and down the Front Range. Some of the eastern slopes are in the 50s. That's a function of the warmer air coming in from the west. That warmer air is drier. And so Gunny is down to 39 this morning. And so we are sort of transitioning right now to a little bit of a different weather pattern. So let's talk about our short-term forecast here because it's going to, if you have outdoor plans, be some good news for you. And you can see we've got a clear sky over the mountains this morning. Like I said, there are a couple spots along the river that have some low clouds. But our chances of showers today are lower than yesterday. For those of us over the plains yesterday, the area of low pressure that brought those showers, that's off to the northeast now. We have some showers up across northern Kansas and southern Nebraska. What we have developing here is drier air coming in from the west. And your eye probably notices that, but I put the flow lines on here for you every day up where the airplanes fly, and the flow tends to follow the black lines. There is a jet streak coming into the west coast. Any waves associated with those will stay up to our north here over the next few days. And so we just get some warmer temps, especially east of the mountains for today. Mountains and valleys, we won't change too much from what we had yesterday, which puts us in the 70s to around 80. But Colorado Springs, we get into the 80s today. And Canyon City, Pueblo, everybody along the river, and then over the southeast corner of the state, we're around 90 today. That's a noticeable jump from what we had yesterday when we were in the 70s. So everybody will perceive that, I think, by about 10 or 10:30 today. You're like, oh man, hey, it's warmer. Walsenburg and Trinidad, mid-80s today as well. The moisture we've got this morning, watch what happens here over the next few hours. You'll see the dew points tanking over the mountains as we start mixing up the atmosphere, that drier air coming down to the surface. We end up in the teens and 20s here as we hit the afternoon. Along the Front Range, we're getting rid of the 40s. And it's a process. I mean, we'll be hanging on to the 40s here as we hit 2 o'clock across the far eastern plains, but that's lower than where we are right now. And so that means that rain today and storms are less likely. There's just not as much energy for the atmosphere to use today with the decrease in water. And as that happens, the low clouds we have over a couple spots over the plains and the river will decrease. And so we get quite a bit of sunshine here to start off the day. So really, really nice to be outside. I mean, if you need to pop into the yard, if you're not working today, if you're retired and you want to take a walk in the neighborhood, it'll be a great day to do that. If you want to avoid the heat, I'd go here when I'm done with Mornings with Meister and get out there. We will see clouds develop over the mountains. And there will be a thunderstorm or two that tries to develop. They're just not going to have a lot of water to work with. So Virga out there today, rain evaporating on the way down to the ground, some free air conditioning with a little bit of some gusty wind in a couple of spots. The strongest cell or two, and we'll watch maybe the Sangre de Cristos, the Wet Mountain Valley, western Huerfano County later in the day. Perhaps we get a quick little shower or a burst of rain. If you catch something, you're lucky today. It won't last all that long. And then we get rid of that action pretty quick here as we head into tonight. Tomorrow morning, I think we're even warmer than today. We have a couple spots around 60, especially along the eastern slopes, along the northern slopes of the Raton Mesa. Otherwise, 50s real common east of the mountains. The center of the mountain valleys will be cooler than the surrounding hillsides, but 40s will be pretty common. We will get warmer over the mountains and valleys tomorrow by a handful of degrees, so 80s more common. And then over the eastern plains, maybe we add a degree or two. So if you're at 90 today, probably into the 90s tomorrow. And even though Denver and the Palmer Divide don't see much of a temperature change for tomorrow, there is a little difference. A front will kind of sneak in from the north. It ups the low-level moisture across northeastern Colorado and the northern slopes of the Palmer Divide. What it does from a tangible perspective for the weather is it makes a storm a little bit more likely here as we head into Friday afternoon over El Paso County or maybe up across Douglas or Elbert County. The other area that we'll watch, and these are still going to probably be gusty type type storms is the southeast corner of the state, from about south of Kim through Baca County, where there's a little wind shift kind of line that will bring some wind together tomorrow. So you might get a storm to develop there as well. Again, other than an isolated burst of some rain, expect some cooling, gusty wind, I think would be the most likely thing that you would see. And then we'll get rid of that here pretty quickly as we head into tomorrow night. So just less active than what we've had around here for the last few days. Erica says she's loved the rain, by the way. She's like, all the rain we've been getting, our grass, our plants are so happy. I agree with that. It has been nice. Speaking of nice, Julie is enjoying the cool start to the beautiful day. I love it. And speaking of beautiful, we get some beautiful weather. We have a beautiful lifestyle here in Colorado. And for Living Smart now on this Thursday, let's check in with Kathy Skaggs from Diligent Home.
You check the weather because you want to know what's ahead. And honestly, buying a home can feel the same way. A lot of first-time buyers in Colorado Springs and El Paso County want to own a home someday, but they feel unsure where to start. They may be wondering, is my credit good enough? How much do I need to save? Can I buy while paying off my debt? Or who do I trust to walk me through all of this? That's exactly why I started the Home Start program. I'm Kathy Skaggs with Diligent Homes, and as a real estate advisor, I believe homeownership should not feel confusing, rushed, or out of reach. Home Start is a complimentary education and guidance program that helps future buyers prepare with clarity and confidence. We walk through the practical pieces: credit, debt reduction, budgeting, savings, mortgages, and what to expect in the home buying process. And when the time is right, you're not left to figure it out alone. You have concierge guidance for the next step. For employers, Home Start can be offered as a meaningful benefit through lunch and learns, first-time buyer seminars, financial readiness classes, or one-on-one consultations for employees. And the benefit goes beyond home ownership. When you help your employees feel more financially prepared and supported, you help create a more stable workforce and a culture of trust, because they know their employer cared enough to offer a program that serves their long-term future. Because when people feel prepared, they can make better decisions for their family, their finances, and their next chapter. So whether you're wanting to buy your first home or you're an employer who wants to add this benefit to your team, I'd be honored to help. Give me a call or text me at 719-822-1855. I'm Kathy Skaggs with Diligent Homes. Let's help you move from wondering if home ownership is possible to knowing your next right step. Diligent brings you home.
There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry, crew. I'm back in now. Anyways, Kathy Skaggs is great. That's what I wanted to say. And I wanted to focus on our communities across the region. So it'll be quieter in the Wet Mountain Valley today, 90 or so in Pueblo. We get that bump. It's more noticeable across the plains than what we have here over some of the mountain valleys where we just don't see the temperature change too much from what we've had the last couple of days. I do want to focus on some of our smaller communities that don't always show up on some of the maps elsewhere where you might be getting some action here. So Golden Air will be around 80 today. Mesita in the southeast corner of the San Luis Valley will be around 77. I think if you catch a storm today, you might actually welcome it. More likely over the mountains and the Front Range than out across the plains because, you know, some natural air conditioning, free air conditioning would be kind of nice. Lots of 90s out there today. Some of the surrounding higher terrain a little bit cooler, so 80s real common across the Palmer Divide here as we move into the afternoon. Mary is going to join us here this morning. She did a segment yesterday on the developing El Nino, and I want to have her investigate that together with us here on this Thursday morning.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
All right, welcome back. There's been a lot of discussion around the super El Nino this summer. Two things that I want to make a point of. We do not have an El Nino yet. That remains to be seen when that El Nino is going to take place. We are under an El Nino watch, which means the Climate Prediction Center and is watching for conditions favorable for that El Nino to finally kick in. Right now, we're still in kind of a neutral phase in terms of that oscillation phase. So, what is El Nino? A lot of people don't even know what it is. So before I get to, is it a super El Nino? Is it not? I'm going to share this with you. So El Nino, if I could just start by saying this all has to do with how warm or cold sea surface temperatures are in this area of the world. So you're talking right here through the Eastern Pacific. Okay, that's where it matters. Because this, whether it's warmer than average, which is an El Nino, if it's cooler than average, it's a La Nina. So look at this. Do you see this jet stream right here? When you have warmer than average temperatures, sea surface temperatures, it affects the behavior of this jet stream. This jet stream is like your river of weather. It's like a highway of weather, right? It's like a delivering weather. Think of it like a conveyor belt of weather, moisture. When you have cooler than average temperatures, which is a La Nina, which is what we had this past winter, that river of weather gets shifted way north over the Pacific Northwest. Now, there are some anomalies, so, kind of take this with more of a historical, broad trend, if you will. There can be years where you have anomalies, right? But the La Nina cool phase, that's why we had historically dry conditions. Part of that, most of that was due to this La Nina pushing most of our moisture up and around parts of the Pacific Northwest. So now we've gone into this neutral phase. We're transitioning over to El Nino. But a lot of people are wondering, well, when does that kind of conveyor belt of moisture really start to enhance our monsoon flow? When does it kick in? Sometimes it can take time. It can take 30 to 60 days before the atmosphere responds to the El Nino once it's fully developed. Now, there's been a lot of chatter around it's going to be a super El Nino. What would that mean? So when you have warmer than average temperatures in the Eastern Pacific, warmer than average sea surface temperatures, it can be 1 to 2 degrees. That's all it takes for an El Nino to happen. When they term it a super El Nino, what they're trying to say is that it could be 2 to 4 degrees above average. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an intense event that will play out for 6 months to 8 months or however long it lasts. It just means that it's a well above average. But I'll start by telling you the Climate Prediction Center in their latest discussion is saying we're not sure of the intensity just yet. So, oftentimes they'll come out with these discussions Sometimes people will have their own term and like it'll go viral and they'll start to term it Super El Nino, and we don't even know if that's going to happen yet. So I would say the latest discussion from the Climate Prediction Center as of late May, they're uncertain of the intensity of this El Nino. And regardless of the intensity, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to play out in a very intense fashion with our weather here in southern Colorado. Do I think it's going to enhance our monsoon flow, probably late summer and early fall, and likely give us a frequency of higher snow events through the latter portion of 2026? I do. Typically El Ninos, because we have that conveyor belt of moisture that typically tends to orient right here across the Pacific and into the southern areas of California and the desert Southwest and up through Colorado, because that El Nino it favors kind of a jet stream dip across the lower western United States, it gives us more frequency of events, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see these monstrous storms. It just means there's more opportunity to have more rain events, snow events, especially as you get into the fall and winter. What I will tell you is, I've lived here for 12, 13 years now. I've been through a couple El Ninos. You do have more frequency of events. You can have more intense systems in between, but we have more data for how El Ninos respond through fall and winter for the state of Colorado. We don't have as much historical data for how those El Ninos play out for the summertime. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So I wouldn't let this scare you. I wouldn't think too much about it. If you're planning to hike or camp this summer, even latter portion of the summer, early fall, just have multiple ways to get warnings in terms of flash flooding, because that's our big concern, right? Regardless of an El Nino, we get a monsoon flow, we get heavy rain. In the high country, that water is going to find the path of least resistance. And if you're camping out in a low-lying area or a watershed area that's typically dry, or near a drier zone that looks dry but can be a watershed area, you want to have a way to get those warnings. And I always suggest multiple ways, not always just your phone. You have peak alerts, you can have Peaks to Plains weather, but a NOAA weather radio is always the best option. You can get them at Walgreens, you can go on Amazon. If you program them correctly, which is not hard to do, it will operate on its own and it will wake you up when you need a warning. It also sometimes they have the cranks. So if your battery goes dead, you can actually crank it to work. So it's an amazing tool. It's stood the test of time. So I hope that helps to explain kind of in a more simple way the difference between El Nino and La Nina and what that means for our forecast here in Colorado this summer. We'll keep you posted on the El Nino watch and if it goes to an El Nino warning. But right now, we are not officially in an El Nino just yet.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Love your yard with a new outdoor space from F&B Landscaping. From a new build to a new project in an existing yard, we listen and give you the yard you want within your budget. Lawns, water features, xeriscaping. We've got the artistic touch and technical know-how to bring the peak of Colorado outdoor living to your home. Reliable, trustworthy. Visit fblandscapes.com to schedule a free consultation today.
This is John May, General Manager of Petrale Roofing, up on another customer's roof doing a free 21-point inspection. If you'd like us to take a look at your roof, give us a call today, 719-375-8773. We'd be happy to take a look and see the condition of your roof. Petrale Roofing, we're a Diamond certified TAMCO installer, which means we can offer a industry-leading 25-year workmanship warranty to give you peace of mind in the storm. Call Petrale Roofing, 719-375-8773. Schedule your free inspection today.
For over 20 years, my family, like so many of you, has proudly been part of Broncos country.
Every season, we feel the energy, passion, and commitment that defines this team.
And now we are honored to be the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
At Phil Long Ford Motor City, we've been around for 80 years. That's like 560 in dog years.
To say thank you to our loyal customers, it's employee pricing for all. You pay what we pay. Our way of celebrating Colorado's 150th anniversary and America's 250th birthday.
American value for American values. You pay what we pay. Right, boys?
That's right. Only at the original Phil Long Ford store.
All right, we jump into the extended forecast here, and the area of low pressure that we had yesterday, bringing some showers to eastern Colorado, it's moving out. It's across northern Kansas, off to the north of Hayes this morning, moving up toward Interstate 80. And as you look over the western U.S., it is pretty quiet. And that's what we've got coming in here over the next few days. There is a little cold front up to the north that'll sneak into northeastern Colorado tomorrow. Most of the waves here through the weekend will stay up to the north as well, and that keeps our weather pretty quiet here. So as we move past today into Friday, into the start of the weekend, fewer thunderstorms around, and that'll be the case here. Nice for outdoor activities, all of that. You see a developing system off here to the northwest. That'll start to carve down to the south a little bit. Turns our flow a little bit more southwest here into Saturday. On Saturday, there's a little bit more of mid-level moisture, so maybe a better chance of catching a cooling type thunderstorm. And then as we move into Sunday, very quiet day. There is some water here in the mid-levels that gets caught up. Yesterday, it looked like this was going to maybe be far enough south into southern Colorado. Not looking like that today. We'll keep an eye on it. Somebody's going to get some thunderstorms east of the mountains on Monday. May end up to our north, but we'll keep an eye on that. And really quiet through most of next week. At some point, we'll start to see some moisture return from the south. And depending on how much of that is around here, perhaps we get some more thunderstorms. But this is a really, really quiet forecast here over the next few days into next week as it appears now. And unless that system you saw over the western U.S. comes farther to the south, it's going to be pretty quiet around here. Pretty toasty as well. We'll get a few little weak fronts to come in that'll drop the temperatures about 5 degrees or so. But as we head into next week, a couple days here in Colorado Springs of upper 80s to around 90. And if we're getting that in the Springs, you know what that means across the eastern plains here, starting to think about getting toward 100. So again, more 90s than anything else. You'll get some day-to-day fluctuations. Saturday will be a little bit cooler than what Sunday will be. If you need to plan that for weekend activities, Monday will be a little bit cooler. Then we get pretty hot. And then we'll have to see kind of how much moisture comes up associated with that system coming in from the west, because it should drag a cold front into the area as well. That'll pull the temperatures back a little bit. And usually when that happens, comes with some thunderstorms around here this time of year. It's something that we'll keep an eye on as we look at the back part of our extended forecast. But we're taking it 11 days out into the future here. And so you can see even some of the mountain areas getting a little bit warmer than we've been as of late. I mean, you talk 80 in Woodland Park. That is pretty warm. So an outside chance of a gusty type storm here over the mountain areas as we move into the weekend. But really what I want you to grasp here as we move toward the weekend and next week is that unless something changes from how it appears now, we are going to be in a pretty quiet weather pattern. So Isaac says, good morning. Hope the super El Nino is as powerful as Nacho Libre and we get feet of snow. Yes, that would be really, really good. Julie says, good morning to Mary. It was nice to have her on the show this morning. And here's a good thing to end with. Emily says, it sounds like a great day for the pool. The kids are going to be stoked. And yeah, if you can't get to it today, we've got some of that in the forecast, at least some opportunities for that over the next week to week and a half as well. So crew, it's coming up on 7 o'clock. That's it this morning for Mornings with Meister. Hopefully you saw yesterday that Rachel Plath is joining the crew. If you didn't, we are so excited about that. Mary and I excited to have Rachel be able to do some weather when we need a little bit of time off or we have some family things to do. Rachel will help out when Mary has the baby. And we may not be done growing yet as well, but to have 3 former chief meteorologists on TV in one place hopefully shows you what we're trying to build here. We're trying to serve you. We're trying to serve you and your family with useful, specific weather information, to have time to talk about some of the uncertainties that exist every time you're predicting the future and how that can impact your planning. It's what it's all about. So please do us a favor. Share Peaks to Plains weather with your friends. Please support our partners when you are making purchasing decisions. And, I'm drinking American Classic coffee here every day. They are fantastic. You can put Peaks in at checkout on American Classic coffee, and they'll give you 10% off. The roasts are so dang good. I just love the stuff. I love sharing it with people when they come over and check out the studio. If we're talking about partnership opportunities, everybody just loves how smooth it is. The other thing you can do on Peaks to Plains weather is you can go up into the top right-hand corner if you would like to support Peaks to Plains weather. If you'd like to grow your small business with Peaks to Plains weather, we'd love to talk to you about that. And also support all of our partners. They are all wonderful. There are big businesses, there are small businesses, and we are so honored to have all of them be a part of what we are doing. So crew, that is it for me today. I hope you have a fantastic day. See you tomorrow on Peaks to Plains Weather Mornings with Meister. I do it every Monday through Friday morning at 6:30. Of course, we have weather anytime you need it on the Peaks to Plains Weather 24-hour channel. We are so honored to bring that to you. Roku, it's on YouTube. It's in the Peaks to Plains Weather app. It is on the peakstoplainsweather.com website. And have had a couple of snafus with Fire TV and Apple TV, but I checked in on those yesterday. They're supposed to be up here in the next few days. So Peaks to Plains weather in more places. Have a good day.
We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.